Hey, podcast community, Pete Kane here, Podcast Pete and certified high performance coach. Well, it's Wednesday and community matters. So every Wednesday, you're going to get a podcast, Community Matters. Sometimes it'll be me, sometimes it'll be a guest with a different perspective. But either way, you can count on us to deliver community. All right, 3 tips that matter. But before I get into the tips, I want to give you just a little framework. Each day, at least 6 days a week, we take off on Sunday. We recharge, we refresh, and we reframe for the week ahead. And we worship. That's just what we do. But here, Monday through Saturday, you're going to get a different podcast with a focus that can help you grow. Because together we're better. And Monday, motivation. Start off the week. Tuesday, marketing. Some ideas, some marketing people, some things that give you a different perspective. Wednesday's community. Thursday's relationship. Friday's mindset, the important mindset. Saturday's leadership. So each day, you either get myself or we'll have a guest. But either way, you can put it on your calendar and you can count on it because we want to deliver you the best. We want to deliver you our community because our community is growing. Because today we have to look at the world through different eyes. If you've always been local, that's fine. But I want you to think global. And whatever that means to you, let me share with you some things that can help you grow your mindset. Because the world changed and now it's global. Right now, this can be enjoyed around the world. Never could before, but the world changed. So if you're just operating in the sandbox, the 20% of the local opportunity, you're missing the global 80%. That's the people that don't even know you. And if you want people to know you, the first tip is create content. Because if you create content, you give people an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust you. See, everybody has about 150 people in their relationship circle. And that circle is protected. Our brain protects us because if we didn't have that, our brains would explode with all the information that's out there. So it naturally protects us from too much information. Now, you can always look that we're in an information overload. We're all distracted with stuff. Everybody's trying to get your attention. But the ones that can focus on create your life, not consume other people's lives. The average person watches 4 hours of TV a day and up to 2.5 hours, sometimes 3, of consuming, scrolling, watching TikTok videos. There's 2 types of people on TikTok. They're the creators that are doing very well. Then they're the consumers, which aren't. Because if you're not creating your life and you're trying to live the consumption of other people's lives, you'll never feel full and fulfilled and purposeful. You're always comparing, judging others. When create your life, the magic is in you and anything's possible. So when we look at this right here, I'll put it big, then we'll go back to small. Okay. So Community Matters Podcast. So when you look at your business, there's 3 things that you need to focus on. Not 10, but 3. Let's put them up here on the screen so you can see them. You have to generate leads because leads is life. If you don't have leads, you're not going to create cash flow and you won't build a thriving community. A healthy community has leads and cash flow. If you don't have the leads, you have a hobby or you have a business that's going to eventually go out of business. So you got to focus on leads. I had a person the other day changing careers and got involved in network marketing. And the comment that was told to me, well, we got a patented product. Everybody's got a patent on a product. So if you focus on the product and you can't go out there and generate leads beyond your family and friends, because that's what it usually results in. And if you can't say to a person, I'm thinking about being involved in this company. It's got a patented product. It's this. Would you purchase that from me? If they say no, you keep going. When you get 3 people giving you money, then you know you have the demand and you have leads. Don't go out and spend a lot of money on a website and brochures and time, because if you can't prove to yourself that it's a legitimate business that creates leads, that people are willing to give you money for it, you're going to be fooling yourself because you're not going to make it. And a lot of people, they do everything but leads. They buy a website, they invest all this money in stuff, and they haven't even sold one person. So always test yourself, because an entrepreneur is pitching and selling. So if you don't like selling, don't let them fool you. It's selling. You got to sell yourself. You got to pitch all the time. And if people aren't buying, you don't have leads. So if you say, well, I just want to share with my friends, selling. So you have to think about, if you're not willing to be a salesperson, and take that used car salesman mindset out of your mind, because nothing moves in this world unless it's sold. So go out there and sell. Generate leads before you spend a lot of money on stuff. Doesn't matter about the supply. Too much supply, very little demand, you don't have a business. High demand, limited supply, that's called price tension, you got a healthy business. So you always got to focus on the leads. Leads create cash flow. Cash flow provides you a thriving, healthy, impactful community. And if you're out there and you're focusing on those 3 things, of which the leads are first, leads create life for your business. So focus on the right things. Focus on your leads, and you will have a thriving business. You'll create cash flow, and cash flow will give you a thriving community. Second, we do podcasting to build meaningful relationships. Relationships are critical to your business. So if you're having guests like we have on, I've done 500 of these podcasts, thousands of videos to create content. No social media yet, but that's going to change in 26, because we're going to put the pedal to the floor and amplify our business, but just testing the algorithms. If you search my name, Pete Kane, put podcast in there, and you're going to see 5 pages of Google. Search YouTube. YouTube will probably come up first. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere. So I'm not concentrating on going to every social event, every networking event, because you don't have to be everywhere. You need to be somewhere, and somewhere is online, because the 80% of your potential business is global, people that don't even know you. That's why be real careful in network marketing, because they don't tell you everything. You got to be a good salesperson, and you're going to have to sell your family and friends first, because if you can't sell them, you have nothing. But if you're hesitant to do that, then you shouldn't be in the business. Be very careful. Careful. Go out there and take the product, whatever it is. They usually have good products. They're overpriced, but they have good products, because they need a lot of education. You got to pay layers and layers of commission. So the product cost is high. So if you're not willing to sell that product at the price that they say, then it's not for you. Then you have to be honest with yourself and say, maybe this isn't the type of business I should be in. Don't let them tell you all. You got to talk to people. Ask people. Ask people. Because when you talk to people, you'll get both sides, not just one side that drank the Kool-Aid, and the only thing they can see is the multi-million dollars that they throw in front of you. But the fact is, everybody has a story. That's why we invite you to be on our podcast. We want to share your story with our community, with the world, so you can experience content. Maybe you don't like podcasting because you've never done it, but you never know until you try something. So being a guest on my podcast, let me see if I can put this up here. Yes, I can. Let me see. Yeah. See this QR code? All right. That QR code is book a podcast. And if I'm going to put a banner up here, there we go. Go to pking.me. Schedule a podcast. Doesn't cost you anything. We're going to put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Then, if you want, you can upgrade. Get it on Spotify, professional show notes, thumbnail, mini videos, shorts that help people to see what you got. Because most people are going to come in just testing. And then once they're interested, they'll go to your longer podcast or longer video. So shorts do have a place, and they have a place to pique people's interest. And when they're interested, they'll want more. And that's a good sign to me. Make sure people are interested in you. Don't throw up on them. Have people say, Pete, what do you do? I generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. That's it. If they say nothing, I don't tell them, hey, we do podcasting and courses, and we do this, we coach, and I do this, I do live events, I have workshops. They may not even be interested. So if they're not interested and they don't lean into you and ask a question, don't throw up on them in a metaphorical way. Let them ask questions. What do you mean by generating leads? Well, one of the ways we do it is creating a podcast. It's an asset. Creating an asset never goes away. That's why we dominate 5 pages of Google, because we've created a lot of assets, and it'll always be out there. And don't be fooled by just because your views are low. Everybody has to go through a journey. Joe Rogan didn't start out with millions of reviews the first podcast he did. He's been doing it. He's been doing a lot of things. He's been fine-tuning his system. Got on to Spotify. They tried to shut him down. Got more popular. Now he's the number one podcast because he creates value, has interesting guests, asks great questions, and is able to be the best at what he does. So for you starting out, don't compare yourself to somebody that's been doing it for years. You start your journey wherever it is. And it's hard work, but prioritize, get the right help. get the right coaching, get the right strategy, and you can be down the road in a great place. But there's no shortcuts. You're going to have to work your butt off. Love what you do because that makes all the world of a difference. Love what you do. Look at Elon Musk. He loves what he does. So he can work 20 hours a week or 20 hours a day or whatever he works. He works a lot, but he prioritizes better than anybody. And he gets the most out of his team because he solves problems. He goes in, what's the biggest problem you have today? And then he sits down with his team of engineers and they figure it out. And he doesn't leave until he solves it. So if you can do that in your business, always be solving problems. Business is a lot of problems. And if you can't be good at solving problems, you shouldn't be in business because you're not going to be successful unless you are a good problem solver. So when you look at your community, let me go back, book a podcast. All right, let me see if I can take this off. Oh yeah, it goes off now. Okay, hold on here. Clarity. I put another QR code up there. And I want you to book a clarity session. See, if you book a clarity session, you're clear about where you're going. You'll have less distractions because when you do not have clarity, you will get distracted. Just happens. So if you go to, let me see here. I know I have it up here. Yes, I do. Go to pkane.me/clarity. And so you book a clarity session. It'll ask you a few questions and I'll spend 15 minutes with you, helping you with your strategy for free. So when you look at community, let's get back to the 3. Let me see if I can put this up here. Okay. The meaningful relationships is number 2. And what I mean about that is relationships are your business. And meaningful one is not just surface people that you are continuing to invest in relationships, prioritizing your relationships, having those. I talk to 5 people a day, minimum. I want to have 5 meaningful conversations because I want to learn. I want to go deeper with people and my relationships with them. It's like somebody says, I want to build relationships, but you don't do anything about it. You have to spend time. Time helps to build those relationships. And podcasting helps build them. I've done 500 of them. I know the stories of my guests because I remember stories. And that's one of the great advantages of podcasts. Now, we invite key strategic partners to our podcast. So there is a strategy to it. Plus, learning. I learn every single one. I build a relationship with each one because I'm learning their story and I'm able to go deeper in a relationship with my podcast guests. So not only are you creating an asset, not only are you building a relationship, not only are you creating leads, because when we invite our key strategic partners, we're focused on people that can provide because they have to believe in you. They have to know, like, and trust you. And if they don't, you're done. That's why giving people content online, give them an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust you. Let me take this off. I thought it was coming off now because they told me it was. Maybe this one did not. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so create leads, generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities. So, and the last one, let me give it to you here. Hold on here. I want to give you some value. And the last one to communities, you got to have systems that help you prioritize things. What I mean by that is if you do not have some white space in your calendar where you're allowed to do things if they come up, because you're not running and gunning every day. You're not jumping into the day, checking your emails and putting out fires every day. And you're not thinking. Every time I get up, I drink my water, but I think, I plan, I think, I journal, I plan, and I implement. I think, I journal, I plan, and I implement every single day. I've completed 16 plus journals since I had my stroke 4 years ago. And I have a better clarity about what I'm doing because I'm writing. What did I learn from that podcast? What am I excited about? What am I working on? And what's the day going to look like? I just do it to where I'm getting it out of here because we have to be expressing ourselves. We have to have a system. In my system, I prioritize things. I don't run around every networking event trying to be everywhere. I want to be somewhere. And today, somewhere's online. Because that's the 80% of the people that have an opportunity to get to know you, like you, and trust you. But if you're not creating assets, then how can people get to know you? They can't. We talk about Daniel Priestley's book, Key Person of Influence, which I have up here, my back shelf. He's got a new book out. I'll order that one because I have all 5 of his books. Entrepreneurial Revolution, 21 Assets, Score app, key Person of Influence, and that's being an influence online because that's where people have an opportunity to get to know, like, and trust you. We talk about 7-11-4. 7 is 7 hours. People have to go through a journey with you to know, like, and trust you. People halfway across the world could be watching this. And if they're interested, which is the 11, people have to make buying signals. They have to be interested in you. And if they're not interested in you, then they're not going to follow you. They're not going to go on a journey with you. But if they are, and they see you on 4 different platforms, a platform could be a book, a podcast, a workshop, a LinkedIn post, Spotify, different platforms, then the brain just goes, it clicks. 7 hours, 11 buying signals in 4 different platforms. That shifts, and then you get into a person's relationship wheel. So then you break into that, and it's kind of like you're buying a Tesla, and you start looking. Everything is Tesla out there. Now, it probably is, but that's a story for another day. But whenever you're familiar, you see it more. And the brain works like that. So you're 150 people, you're wanting to get into the relationships of 100, they're 150. And to do that takes time. One video is not going to do it. You got to take people on a journey. If you go and look up me, there'll be enough out there to know, like, and trust. Now, it's your decision. You may not. But that I can't control that. All I can control is creating the content and the journey. So when you want, you can go to like this. So this is a call to action. So I'm going to put up here a clarity. Go to pkane.me/clarity. And you can schedule a 15-minute call. I ask you a few questions. And I'm curious about your strategy. Because if you don't have a strategy, you're not going to get there. You have to have a strategy, a purpose. You have to know, you have to set priorities. And we always set priorities. The only thing I do is podcasting, creating courses, and high performance coaching. 12 sessions. And I want to give you a free gift as I wind down here. So if you look at this, let me make this a little bigger, more bigger, as my granddaughter says. Okay, so look at this. All right, hold on here. I want to give you a little gift. All right, here we go. Gift of learning. if you go to petekane.me/connect, all right, here we go. Go to connect. And if you want to, let me see if I can connect you right here. All right, I just put a different QR code up there. So connect with us, go to that page, and when it's going to ask you, it's $300, but I'm going to give it to you as my gift. Gift for the holidays, gift of learning. Use the word gift. It'll waive the $300 fee. If you don't want the gift and you want to pay for it, great. We appreciate it. You're investing in yourself, and we donate half of it to our local charities. So we want to make an impact. But the main impact we want to make is with you. We want you to learn the gift of learning, to receive the gift of learning, to go on this journey. 12 sessions: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. As soon as you hit influence, it's going to invite you to a live coaching experience with 20 people. 10 people that want to be key persons of influence, 5 veterans, and 5 of our youth. Together, you're better. And once you go into the 7th session, you have physiology, psychology, persuasion, purpose, and productivity mastery. So you're going to learn the high performance habits. You're going to learn a course that normally would pay $300, but you're going to get it as a gift. So go scan the QR code or go to petekane.me/connect. And that gift is yours. So to recap, I want to recap for you. Hold on here. All right. Create content. Podcast is content. Courses. I got 9 courses. And you get so much of learning with us in our community. Meaningful relationships and prioritize with systems. The system, if you have systems in your business and you're buying back your time, like, let me see if I can put it up here. Yes, I can. All right. See, oops, let me take this off for a second. Hold on here. I'll show you a book. See that right there? Dan Martell, right there. See? Buy back your time. Practice that. You'll be better, because buying back your time will allow you to grow, to scale, to have a thriving business, because your time is the most valuable thing you have. We all have 24 hours. How we prioritize it can depend on the success of your business and life. So prioritize meaningful relationships and create content. So if anything, if you like what you heard today and you want to share this, subscribe and share, because that's the only way we can get our information out there. If you want to be a guest on my podcast, just go to petekane.me. Love to have you on. Love to share your story. Love to introduce you to our community. Pete Kane, be bold, make an impact,